BBC London 94.9.
London's news.
London stories.
How are you, Wayne?
I'm all right, thank you, yeah. I've got a little piece here, a little kind of a trinket kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had a friend and she was a primary school teacher.
Right.
And obviously the last day term, children come and give them gifts. Normally it's Maltesers and things, isn't it? She was a little bit disturbed by this gift she'd been given by this particular little girl. As far as I could work out, she was a foster child.
Right.
But on the last day, and it was the last time she was going to see her, I think, she kind of hung back and gave her this present. And she wasn't sure what to make of it. It was like beautifully wrapped. And when she opened it up, she couldn't work it out. Inside was a little piece of wood. But you know this formation called the Devil's Tower? I think it's in Wyoming. It just juts out of the land. It's a really weird kind of strange formation. This looks like that, but it's about as big as a kind of medium-sized jar of Vaseline.
Right.
It's got ridges cut in it, and she couldn't work it out. And underneath, she found a little card, and it said on it, "Always check the driftwood. The longer it's been sloshing around in the swim of things, the more it has to offer." And she was looking, and underneath this piece, because it was flat on the bottom, and it stands beautifully upright, it had been burnt into the bottom, and it said Chelsea 1996.
Chelsea? What?
Chelsea, in
Sussex?
Sussex.
Yeah.
And she suddenly realised it was a school trip they'd been on, and this girl must have found it on the beach. It was a piece of driftwood.
Okay.
So,
but it was perfectly formed into this...
It had formed into this by dragging up and down and up and down, and it's beautifully, it stands beautifully, kind of like, you know, on a surface, because the bottom is not flat, but it allows it to stand, just like this rock formation does, jutting up.
Right.
And I think it's teak, and I've looked at it, and I reckon it was once a little piece of stair rail.
Okay.
Could have been from a ship, you never know, could have been from a shipwreck or anything.
Yeah.
So she was a bit scared of this. And
why was she scared of it, Wayne?
Well, I think she was, because I don't think she quite understood, but I took it to be like a metaphor of this girl's life.
Right.
I thought that this was symbolic, that she's being pushed around like a piece of driftwood.
Right, but she's being shaped into something beautiful.
Yeah. And it's probably the best... Next year, she gave it to me. She believed that this girl actually, you know, came up with this kind of... which should be in a book of quotations.
What's the quote again, Wayne?
It says, "Always check the driftwood. The longer it's been sloshing around in the swim of things, the more it will have to offer."
It isn't bad, actually, is it?
No.
It isn't bad. And have you Googled it and that and seen if it's
I've Googled it and I've never found it.
It's not attributed to any...
deep, and she was very intelligent. I think it came from herself. I definitely do.
And how old was she?
I think she was about 11. I just think it was meant to come to me, you know what I mean?
Really? What makes you think that?
Well, because I understood it. And sometimes you should check out people, shouldn't you? Don't you think it's just like... I don't know if you got it or not. Some people don't get it. Some people say, I'd rather have had the Maltesers. Whether it's saying that...
Ian in Surbiton, good morning.
Morning, Graham.
You want to talk about safety in London?
My story comes from 4 years ago, when I was going to work early in the morning. Came round the corner, 3 teenagers, separated. One had a hammer. I thought, here we go.
Goodness me.
So I said to one of them, "OK, mate, let's not be silly." And I said, "I've got £10 and that's all I got." And he said, "You got anything else?" I said, "Well, I've got a Sony Walkman I'm listening to." And he took that and he gave it back. You know, very fashion-conscious boy.
What year was this?
2008.
You had a Sony Walkman in 2008. He probably felt sorry for you. I'm surprised he didn't give you the tenner back as well and tell you to save up for an iPod.
You got that feeling? I mean, we sort of separated then. They went their way and I went mine. And then after about a minute, I doubled back to where I knew I could get to a phone.
Yeah.
I rang 999. Within 10 minutes, a police van was outside.
Yeah.
I got into that, and he said, "We think we know where they might be going. We'll give you a tour around the area."
Yeah.
Well, we never saw them. So they gave me a lift back home.
and said, in a few hours' time, the forensics officer will be coming, and he came at 9 o'clock. He couldn't do anything because the cover of the Walkman, although it's plastic, it couldn't take fingerprints.
Right, it wasn't shiny enough.
No, I thought, damn, I might have got them there.
Yeah.
I got one bit of advice for people. If you're going to carry a small amount of notes, if someone robs you, it's your words against theirs. Take the last 3 numbers of a banknote. So if the police do stop and they say, we've been told that you've robbed this person of £10, we know the number, empty out your pockets. And they find the number in a banknote. How did it get there? Am I psychic? If you can look at their faces, do, but they don't like that.
Yeah.
Look at their shoes. You can identify some people by their shoes, especially trainers. Anything that stands out, that would be useful to the police.
Good advice, Ian. Hey, thanks for your call.
No problems, mate.
Jay in Chelsea, good morning.
Yeah, I just despair of this government. Libraries being closed. That, to me, has more pertinence than worrying about pensioners and whether they're entitled to or should be entitled to winter fuel allowance.
Do you think it should be means tested then?
I think if you pay into the system and they have this ability for you to get into that catchment group, then it should be given to you.
Okay, because we do seem to think this. We've got this attitude, and I don't know whether we've been sold a dummy here that you pay into the system, and then when you get to a certain age, then you can claim it back. That's not how it works, because it's like a Ponzi scheme. It's the people who are working who are paying to keep the people who are not.
And I don't have a problem with that.
But it will be a problem when there are so many people who are retired, and there's not enough people working to put the money in the system to pay them.
Well, then maybe we need to look at rejuvenation in terms of employment and what we're doing. Because living in central London, what I see more of is the acquisition of properties. They seem to be more building of properties as opposed to concentration of young people through libraries or educative purposes. There seems to be less development of that.
Yeah, you have to ask the question, though, in this modern age, what is the role of a library?
Are you serious?
Well, what is the role of a library?
Well, what I remember, and I remember with a great fondness and joy, is my parents taking me to the library, making me understand the general use, how to reference, to go to the reference library, how to research for different books and get books for my enjoyment and pleasure. And I think children still need to have that facility open to them, because not everybody has the ability to have Kindles or other devices to download books.
As far as the reference section, though, there's a thing called Google.
But you can still access that in the library. I think we're working from a premise that everybody at home has a computer. I
think you got it there, didn't you, though? You said that's... So if that's the role of libraries, is to be the place where you can go and get the knowledge, do we need to be spending as much on the people that are in there sorting the books and everything? Has technology made libraries cheaper, but we're still running to the old model with the Dewey Decimal System? Have things, that's why my question was, what is the role of the library? Libraries, they thought they were getting up to date when you could rent cassettes. They weren't really. They need to reinvent themselves and do a selling job, because otherwise they're going to lose their funding. It's just like anything. Everybody's a salesman these days. You've got to sell what it is you do, otherwise no one's going to pay for it.
Okay.
Mick in Fulham, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you want to talk about this morning?
I was just driving home and I heard you talking about London being the greatest city in the world.
Yes.
And though I love London and I live here for more than 30 years, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's the greatest city. Or what criteria are you using to...
Well, I've visited... Of all the cities I've visited, and of the cities I've lived in, London is the one that excites me the most.
Well, I mean, I've been to Paris, which is a good city, a great city.
Paris is a great city. But given the choice between Paris and London, I'd live in London every day.
The lights are off in Buckingham Palace at night time. Why? If you've got it, flaunt it. It's ridiculous that Buckhouse is dark at night. The place should be lit up.
Maybe she doesn't want to be bothered at night.
Well,
Actually, it'd be a good idea if she goes out, though. It'd fool burglars. They thinks that she's home. She should leave a light on, actually.
Well, there is the odd room.
But in Paris, they don't even have a royal family. And Versailles out of town.
Yes. I mean, they have classier buildings.
They have that Frenchy looking building, the French architecture, which is beautiful, but it's French. It's not. It's not British. So you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want London to look like Paris. You want it to look like London.
Open your mind.
London's got great architecture.
Not compared with, every time you throw a stone in Paris, you've got something to look at. The museums, they've got...
Talking museums? You're talking London's got a problem with museums?
We don't have a problem with museums, but, I mean...
What's some of the finest museums in the world?
Well, it doesn't come anywhere close to the Louvre, for a start. Anything you've got in London, the Tate...
And what's in the Louvre? Italian stuff. The Mona Lisa.
Who cares what it is?
I know, but it's not even
French. That attracts...
right.
Well...
Have you been in just the National Gallery, the top of Trafalgar Square? I mean, it's free to get in. The reason why I say London is the greatest city on earth, one of the reasons why I couldn't make Paris the greatest city on earth, is, for me, is because I don't speak French.
Oh, the hell with... I mean, neither do I, and I don't want to speak French.
When could you talk politics with a taxi driver in Paris? Isn't that one of the greatest... isn't that one of the greatest things about London?
Well, the taxi drivers in Paris are not Parisian per se. They're mostly North African.
Yes,
I can see.
Not that that's a bad thing. You meet interesting people who drive taxis all over the world, and a lot of them aren't from that particular city.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But there's something special about London cabbies, isn't there? And the whole system with the knowledge and everything. Does anywhere have that kind of system as good as that as London has?
No. I totally applaud the...
Where else can you go ice skating in a 1,000-year-old moat, which you can do right now at the Tower of London? I mean, there are so many different aspects to this fabulous city that make it, in my opinion, and I'll say it's in my opinion, the city on earth.
Well, I'm listening to you. I've got a slight gripe about the fact that the museums, the Buckhouse...
London museums are brilliant. There's something for everyone. The Natural History Museum and Science Museum right next door to each other.
Yes.
You couldn't get, and as far as museums go, you couldn't get much further apart with what they're... and they are. Each one is a full day out and free.
Yes, I hear you. And I mean, I've lived in London for 30 years.
The Louvre's not free.
No, I forget how much I paid.
National Gallery's free.
Yeah.
National Portrait Gallery's free too.
Yeah,
it's Mick. You trust me on this one. London's the greatest city on earth, and you even speak the language.
I hear you. Except that I've just started going there
to Paris,
and I'm pretty gobsmacked by Paris at the moment. And the great thing about it is, for 2 hours out of London, you're in a completely different culture.
There's another reason why London is the greatest city on earth. It's only 2 hours from Paris.
BBC London 94.9.
London's news.
London stories.